Camera lenses explained. Shall we wrap this up and move on? Hi and welcome to episode 67 of the Photography Explained podcast. I'm your host Rick, and in each episode I will explain one photographic thing to you in plain English in less than 10 minutes-ish without the irrelevant details. What I tell you is based on my lifetime of photographic experience and not Google. And there's no Google in this one, trust me. Here is the answery bit. A camera lens directs light onto the camera sensor. Different lenses are used by photographers for different subjects and different creative effects. You can get standard, wide angle, telephoto and other specialist lenses to suit your needs as a photographer. Camera lenses are either zoom, variable focal length, or prime, fixed focal length. But you've already told me all this, so what are you going on about in this episode? Well, that is a very good question, and I've just noticed that my accent appears to be changing into someone's other than mine, so I will try and speak like I normally do. What I wanted to do here was just do a quick recap and then get on to the bit that I've not said before. I'll come on to that, I won't bore you with it now. So we have a standard lens, 50mm focal length on a full frame camera. Standard lens equates to how you and I, hopefully, see the world through our own eyes. It's generally a familiar view that we all have. Wide angle lenses have a shorter focal length, as in a smaller number, and less than, in general terms, 40mm. Wide angle lenses you can get more in, but it's further away, and that's that. Telephoto lenses, in general terms, have a focal length on a full frame camera of more than 60mm. Telephoto lenses get you closer in so you can get to subjects further away. They don't change the depth of field, but magnification makes it look like it does. And they can help you with things like photographing a tiger. Rather than walking up to a tiger with a fisheye lens and being eaten, you can photograph it from some distance away. Now we have prime lenses and zoom lenses. A prime lens has a fixed focal length, such as 50mm. A zoom lens has a variable focal length, such as 24 to 105mm. Now we also have fisheye lenses, where you get a circular image with a 180-degree field of view. You can also get a full frame fisheye, which is distorted but not circular. Finally, we have tilt shift lenses, which I talked about in the last episode. Now, I'm sure there are other types of lenses out there, but I just want to go through the main consumer lenses. This is the bit I wanted to say. With all these lenses, all these different things, and all these different manufacturers, how do you choose a lens? Now, there's one thing I haven't mentioned before, is that every camera manufacturer manufactures lenses that fit on the cameras that they make. Now, you can also buy third-party lenses which fit on your camera. So I have a Canon 6D. Yep, still using a Canon 6D. I have Canon lenses on my Canon 6D. I could buy other manufacturers' lenses, but I haven't. Sigma are an independent third-party lens manufacturer. I'm not being paid to say this. I do not have any Sigma lenses, but I have in the past, and they are excellent. Third-party lenses can actually be better than the lenses made by camera manufacturers and are certainly going to be cheaper. There are other lens makers available. Check on the internet and you'll find them. Sigma are a pretty safe bet. So, as well as camera manufacturers, you've got these other people, so I just opened up the range of possible lenses. What do you need to think about? Well, what are you taking photographs of? What is the subject matter? That's number one. If you want to take photos of tigers, telephoto lens. If you want to take photos of architecture, a wide angle lens, and if you're really going for it, a tilt shift lens. If you want to take street photography, something in the 35-50mm range. If you want to take portraits, 85 to 100mm. It just depends, but you need to think about what you want to take photos of. Budget. How much are you prepared to spend? They're not cheap, but then again, you buy a high quality lens, it will serve you for many, many years. And if you look after it, you'll get your money back in a few years, or not far off it. Camera bodies devalue rapidly. Camera lenses do not. It's a wonderful thing about camera lenses. Future ambitions. Are you just happy taking photos for yourself, or do you want to go pro? This will have an impact on your choice of lens. In very general terms, the more money you spend on a lens, the higher the quality of the images that you may get. Not will, may. Final consideration. Do you need a fixed lens or a zoom lens? My notes helpfully said fixed/prime lens, which was really useful and caused me to have a complete meltdown recording this episode, which is now take 5, I think. It's not good, is it? But this is the point. If you only have one lens, learn to use it. If you have 2 lenses, learn to use them and keep on going. But learn to use them. Use everything about them This applies to your camera as well. Use all the apertures. Try them. See what's good, what's not good. Try all the focal lengths. Try different apertures with different focal lengths. Try these things with different subjects. Try these things with different angles and viewpoints. Yes, people, we're talking about practice. Use your lens to its limit until you can't do any more with it. There is nothing left that you haven't tried. Then you could think about getting another lens. Not before, unless you have a specific need where you need to buy a lens. I only buy gear now if I need it, if it's going to help me take photos, take better photos, or just get a photo. Use what you've got. Decide what you want to photograph. And then ask yourself, do you need another lens? Now, if you just want another lens, that's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. They're great bits of gear. They're lovely, lovely bits of kit. So if you want one, that's fine. You don't need to justify it. It's your money. Go and get one. But to get the best out of anything and to not do what I've been doing for years, which is, oh, I fancy that lens, I'm going to buy it. Use it half a dozen times. Don't learn how to use it. Don't practice with it properly. And then be disappointed and sell it and lose money. If you want to do that, fine. I've done it for years. Don't recommend it. Decide if you need another lens and then carefully choose that lens. And once you got that lens, do all of those things above. Keep on practicing. Learn it inside out. Can you get by with one lens? Yes, you can. If you're happy with that and it serves what you do, fine. One recommendation from me, if you have a full frame camera, I use a Canon 24 to 105mm lens. 24mm is a decent wide angle focal length. 105 is a very short telephoto, but it's just getting you into the telephoto range. It's a great starting point, so anything that takes from wide to telephoto is a great starting point. What if you can't afford another lens? Use what you got. I've said it all before. You've probably not used your lens to its limits. You've probably not pushed it and tried everything. So use what you have. Learn to live with it. It will make you a better photographer. It certainly will. Buy more gear won't, but learning to use the gear and live with the restrictions and adapt yourself will make you a better photographer. What if people say you need more gear? You can't be a real photographer with that camera and that lens. Nonsense. You don't need more gear. But you do need to do this probably. You probably need to go and take more photos. You probably need to practice more. More gear doesn't equal better photos. More practicing taking photos does. So what do? And that's the first time I've used "so" in this episode, and it's not even written on the script. I do this. I use my Canon 17 to 40mm lens for commercial work, and I use my Canon 24 to 105mm lens for travel. And I also have a 70 to 200mm telephoto zoom lens, which I use as and when I need to. I don't have any other lenses on my Canon system. Yeah, I've got a few other bits, but that's it for the Canon. And don't forget, I have bought and sold lots of lenses that I did not need. Do not do this. My one-line summary. Camera lenses offer photographers creativity and the opportunity to capture a wider range of subjects. Next episode. Well, I've forgotten something, haven't I? I've gone on about lenses and cameras and focal lengths and this, that and the other and how much a fisheye zoom costs, but there's one thing I haven't covered in any way, shape or form. Phone lenses, are they any good? Do you know what? I think I need to cover that. So episode 68, title to be agreed, are phone lenses any good? I'm done. Thanks for listening to my small but perfectly formed podcast, it says here. To find out more and do stuff to help me, check out photographyexplainedpodcast.com/start. And to find out more about me, check out rickmcavoyphotography.com/start. This episode was brought to you by me not being under the blanket. Now let me know if you can tell the difference or not. If it was worth me while spending 12 3/4 minutes under a large heavy fleecy blanket, I am prepared to do it again, but only if people tell me that it made the sound better. This is sounding fine as it is actually, so I'll leave it there. I've been Rick McAvoy. Thanks again very much for listening to me and for giving me less than 12 minutes of your valuable time, and I will see you on the next episode. Cheers from me, Rick.